of respectability can mask the darkest of souls.
This is an outrage.
A brilliant mind plots a gruesome revenge.
They were dealing with someone who is pure evil.
The desire for a new life ends in a callous death.
A cold-blooded, sadistic, selfish killer.
Amen.
And a devout Christian is a secret sinner.
And she wanted to satisfy her deepest, basest desires.
These deadly women show their true colors when they reach their tipping point. Professor Amy Bishop has it all. Neurobiologist, mother of 4, and a Harvard graduate with a PhD in genetics.
Amy was exceptionally bright and talented.
Good morning, Professor Bishop. All ready for your first date.
Yes, thanks. Although it's not.
In 2003, Amy lands a coveted place in the biology department of the University of Alabama.
Amy Bishop was Harvard trained, and that's how she introduced herself.
She has a grand sense of self-importance, that she was better than everyone else because she had went to Harvard, and she reminded people of that on a continuous daily basis.
But there's only one problem. Amy is a terrible teacher.
She was really not equipped for what she was hired to do.
Does that still look right to you?
I'm not sure.
Excuse me, Professor?
Professor?
Will you stop wasting my time?
I just wanted to know if the
Stop!
Immediately, she is getting, I guess, bad reviews and bad reports from the people that she works with.
If you have to keep asking questions, you shouldn't be here.
She was obnoxious, she was loud.
I just want to shut up now.
Most people just stayed away from her.
Amy's behavior is no better off campus.
Who wants pancakes?
Oh, yeah.
I want to.
Even when she's out for breakfast with her family.
Excuse me. We need a booster.
I am very sorry, but they're all being used by other customers. We don't have any others left.
Amy was enraged that another woman would get the booster seat for her family.
This is ridiculous. I am Professor Amy Bishop. I went to Harvard.
She advises the person that she is Amy Bishop and that she went to Harvard.
Can I help you?
Give me that booster seat.
No, we're using it.
There's something that she wants and somebody else has it, she's gonna come after you.
What are you doing? You need to go back to your seat.
Who do you think you are? How dare you?
What are you doing? Stop! Stand up, woman!
Amy ends up slugging her in the face.
Give me that booster!
Here's this middle-aged woman with her husband and 4 kids hitting another woman with kids in the face.
Woman!
That is narcissistic rage. I am Amy Bishop. I want something and I should get it. And if you get what I want, I get to hurt you.
To avoid being charged, Amy agrees to attend an anger management course. But this isn't her first brush with the law. Back in 1986, 21-year-old Amy is still living with her parents
I got my results.
and brother Seth,
All A's, taught my class.
even though he's 3 years younger.
You guys not? I'm trying to play.
Amy's brother often steals her thunder.
What's so special? I get good marks all the time.
Academics came really easy to Seth, and they didn't come easy to Amy. So I think that fueled some sibling rivalry there.
But Seth just topped his class.
So what?
Let's not fight. Amy, keep playing.
No, I'm done.
For Amy, it was more than just maybe some competition. It became really personal.
Congratulations, brother. Amy. Amy.
But soon their sibling rivalry is brought to a sudden halt. After a family argument, Amy finds her father's shotgun.
Amy Bishop was messing around with it. She was kind of brooding.
She went into her bedroom with a shotgun and pulled the trigger.
But that's just target practice.
Amy, what are you doing? Amy, put that down! Amy!
She leveled the shotgun
Amy, put that down!
at her younger brother,
Amy, don't point it at anyone!
pulled the trigger,
It hit him square in the chest, through his heart. He was mortally wounded.
She said it was an accident. She said that she was playing with the gun and it accidentally went off.
I don't think that was an accident.
Amy refuses to cooperate with the police.
Amy, you need to tell me what happened. You're not doing yourself any favors by remaining silent.
And soon she won't have to.
Officer Bruce, I'll take it from here. Amy, would you like to come with me?
Her mother and the chief of police at that time were extremely close.
Oh, thank you. I've already lost a son. I don't want to lose a daughter.
What she didn't really understand was the moment Amy pulled the trigger, she lost both of them.
Incredibly, her brother's death is ruled an accident.
And it all just kind of gets swept under the rug.
And young Amy Bishop learns a lasting lesson.
The idea is put in her head that she can get away with things that other people wouldn't be able to get away with.
Professor Amy Bishop is about to be shown the door at her university. She's lost tenure because her research isn't good enough.
This is ridiculous. I want answers. Who?
The denial of tenure is a death sentence for a professor.
You are all against me because I am smarter.
It's adios, and somebody else is given a chance.
I am from Harvard.
So everyone is surprised when on February 12th, 2010,
So that will start next semester. Does anyone have any questions?
Amy turns up for a faculty meeting to discuss the next
Nothing
semester.
to add to the meeting?
No, I think that covers it all.
They were very surprised and a little bit uncomfortable because they knew that she had been denied tenure.
But okay, she's still one of the staff. Everybody's friendly to her.
She sat and listened for about 30 minutes.
Does anyone have any questions?
Amy calmly reached into her bag and pulled out a 9mm pistol.
She went on a killing rampage.
And just methodically goes around the room shooting people execution style.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised to know that Amy's pulse didn't go up during the massacre. Why would it? She was cool, calm, and collected.
Amy intended to kill everybody in that room.
Oh, God.
But her pistol jams, and the staff fight back.
These are not trained medical professionals. They're not soldiers. They are normal folks just like you and I. And the next thing you know, they're doing their best to keep their coworkers alive.
Amy kills 3 of her colleagues and leaves 3 others fighting for life. Amy doesn't flee.
She dropped the pistol in the trash and she covered it up with paper towels. She washed the blood off of her face and off of her hands, took off her jacket that was splattered with blood, stuffed it inside the trash.
Hi, I'm ready to come home.
She called her husband, who was waiting for her phone call because they were going to have a date night.
Amy had accomplished her mission. So why mess up her evening?
Get down on the ground!
The police spotted her coming out and took her into custody at that time.
Nothing happened.
When she's asked about the people that have died, she says, no, they're still alive.
We know you were there, Amy.
I wasn't there. I don't remember even being there.
You were there. And 3 people are dead.
Nothing happened.
The police believe Amy's mad scientist act is merely legal strategy.
She began her insanity defense the second that the police put her in handcuffs.
Stop the lies.
Do you have any idea who I am? I went to Harvard. When you get a PhD, then you can come talking to me.
Amy Bishop is charged with capital murder and 3 counts of attempted murder.
She demanded that everybody, including the guards, call her Dr. Bishop.
To avoid a death sentence, she pleads guilty and in 2012 is sentenced to life with no possibility of parole.
Amy Bishop is completely and utterly evil. She is a bad human being.
I think she was a ticking time bomb, and that it was gonna go off at some point.
You are all against me because I am smarter.
Amy has a grandiose opinion of her talent.
What are you doing? Give me that booster!
But in every aspect of her life, she scores an F.
We like to think that really smart people are above murder. She proves otherwise. Professor Amy Bishop had a PhD in murder.
Some women get a second chance at life.
Each employment lasted just weeks.
Pack your bags.
But nothing's going to change.
Things couldn't get much worse.
If they make the same mistakes.
She's starting to really boil over.
Ellis Island, New York, 1866.
Next.
Irish lass Bridget Durgen arrives for a new life in a new land.
Occupation.
Domestic service?
I would actually say she was more of a girl than a woman.
I'm here to start a new life.
You and everybody else. Welcome to New York, Miss Durgen. Next.
Women in her position rarely got to choose. It was whatever they could do to make a living, whatever they had to do to make a living.
But Bridget has instant success. Within weeks, she's working as a maid for a wealthy family in New Jersey.
She went back into domestic service, is what she knew how to do.
Bridget, have you finished the fireplace?
Yes, Mom.
There's still clouds of soot coming out of it.
But it didn't go well.
There's tarnish on this handle. Do it again. I expect better.
Either she was incompetent, she was lazy, or they perhaps didn't like her performance.
She lost that position.
Bridget finds another job, but her bad luck travels with her.
Everywhere Bridget went, disaster struck.
Each employment lasted just weeks.
Oh, Bridget, not again. I've had enough. Pack your bags.
She's poor, she's uneducated, she's away from her country. Things couldn't get much worse for Bridget, but they were about to.
Despite a succession of job failures, Bridget manages to keep one step ahead of her references until she falls ill.
Dr. William Coriel was called to treat her.
May I check your pulse?
Sure.
Because she was suffering from some early seizures or things like that. He was intrigued by what was wrong with her.
For the first time, Bridget finds someone who doesn't want to yell at her.
We see this a lot in young women. Menstrual irregularity.
He's just trying to be kind to her, and she misunderstands. Bridget was mooning over Dr. Coriel.
I can prescribe a remedy.
She thinks he's fabulous, but of course, the feelings aren't reciprocated.
She never had a loving relationship with a man. So it's easy to understand why Bridget didn't get it.
I'll call again in 2 weeks and check on her progress.
She won't be here. I have no room for a servant who can't work.
The doctor comes to her rescue.
Whether it was because he wanted to study her or just needed a servant or both, he hired Bridget.
Mary, this is Bridget, our new maid.
Isn't she your patient?
Yes, I can take care of her much better if she stays here.
William's wife, Mary, isn't so sure about her husband's new pet project.
Mary wasn't really that crazy about Bridget.
The two women are polar opposites.
Mary was beautiful, educated, kind.
She was well-liked by her neighbors, beloved by her family. And these are all things that escaped Bridget in her life so far.
Bridget was jealous of her. She wanted her husband and she wanted her lifestyle.
An uneasy truce descends on the household as Bridget plays maid to the doctor's young daughter, Mamie.
She's starting to have these thoughts, like maybe I can replace Mary in the household somehow. I'm already taking care of the child. I take care of the house. This could all be mine.
Bridget, you haven't cleared breakfast. We'll get rats.
It was inevitable that Mary and Bridget would lock horns.
Apologies, Mom.
When Bridget openly defies Mary's instructions,
I'll feed her. You do your work.
No, I'll do it.
it's the final straw.
Mary was not going to put up with this nonsense from a woman she didn't even really like to begin with.
This is not working out. She'll find another family. I need a maid who can do her duties.
Mary finally told Dr. Coriel, I can't take her anymore. She's just not getting the job done.
Bridget,
Yes, sir.
sit down, please. We need to discuss your employment. I'm sorry, but it's not working out for you here.
The doctor says Bridget, your employment is over.
We need you to pack your bags and leave in the morning.
Bridget was out, and that was really the seed, the kernel, for Bridget to feel resentment.
And that would be the beginning of the end for Mary Coryell.
New York, 1867.
Welcome to New York, Miss Durgen.
Bridget Durgen has left behind a life in Ireland for a new beginning.
Pack your bags!
But she can't hold down a job. On February 25th, Bridget is packing to leave after falling out with her latest mistress, Mary Coryell.
She was told to pack that night and leave the next day.
Another house call?
I'm afraid so.
And then that night, Dr. Coryell was called away.
Have you everything you need?
I'm set to be gone in the morning, sir.
I'll make sure I'm here to see you off.
Outwardly, Bridget seems to accept her fate, but inside, it's a different story. Mary has not only taken away her livelihood, but any chance of winning Dr. Coryell's heart.
In Bridget's mind, she thought if she got rid of Mary, the path would be clear for Dr. Coryell to marry her and raise his daughter.
Bridget won't let this be her last night with the good doctor.
Bridget thought now is the time. Bridget crept into Mary's room.
Bridget?
Mary awakens with a start.
What are you doing?
She attacked Mary, and it was a tremendous struggle. Clumps of Mary's hair were ripped out of her head.
Bridget plunged a knife into her chest.
Bridget just began to stab wildly at Mary. Mary was going to suffer for every wrong that she'd had to endure in her life.
When the weapon fails to kill her victim, Bridget resorts to animal instinct.
She bit her in the neck.
Biting one's victim during a murder is a very savage, animalistic move.
Bridget is counting on a house fire to destroy all evidence.
Bridget set fire in the room with newspapers and linen.
Then she closed the door and ran from the home with Mamie.
The Coryell's house is on fire.
Bridget went to the neighbors.
Robbers broke in. Please help us.
She said strangers came and they're burning the house down.
They killed Mary, but Mamie and I were lucky to get out.
Unfortunately for Bridget, the neighbors are too good at firefighting. The house is not burnt to the ground, and Mary's body still lays in bed for the world to see, complete with shocking bite marks and a gaping neck wound.
One of the first things they did in the investigation was to match Bridget's teeth to the mark on Mary's neck.
And lo and behold, it was a match, as if there was any question.
She was the most obvious suspect from the very beginning. She was immediately taken to jail.
You hungry, Bridget? Try some of that.
When Bridget is arrested for murder, she suffers more seizures. The type which first drew Dr. Coriel to her aid.
She was certainly suffering from some form of epilepsy that caused her to go into a rage.
Bridget.
To this day, some believe her illness caused Bridget's murderous rage.
It certainly played a part. I am certainly not saying she's innocent. She's as guilty as hell. But she was not of her right mind at the time.
Bridget was in full control of her senses. This was not an epileptic fit. Bridget is a cold-blooded, sadistic, selfish killer.
The jury agrees. Bridget's trial lasts 20 days, but the verdict is swift.
Bridget was found guilty within an hour, and people cheered.
The doctors held in such good standing, and Bridget's crime is so horrific. Thousands pay to watch her die.
What's wrong with her?
Give her too much booze.
She was given liquor so that she'd be more amenable to being controlled.
I don't hang women.
The executioner refused to hang her.
What are we gonna do now?
I guess we gotta do it.
With a baying crowd to satisfy, it's up to 2 local officials to finish the job.
To say they botched the hanging would be kind. Instead of breaking her neck and doing it quickly, she choked to death just hanging 3 feet off the ground. The murder was sad, the hanging was just as sad.
Destiny and circumstances dealt Bridget Durgen a very bad hand. And eventually, she decided someone had to pay for that.
In a suburban street, the quiet of the night is shattered.
An intruder broke into my house. I had to shoot him.
She had to shoot him to defend herself.
I was terrified.
We didn't expect what ended up coming out.
Her image was more important than his life.
New Albany, Indiana, 2013.
The entire Bible is the inspired work of God.
31-year-old Lisa Schuler and her husband, Brandon, are regulars at their local church.
She was very big in the church community there.
The Bible is without error.
Brandon was also a very strong Christian, and he had a clear moral compass.
Hi. Beautiful service today.
God inspires me every day. Will you both be coming to the Rock Youth Night on Saturday?
Of course.
The devout couple, with no children of their own, put their community first.
A little quicker, Lisa. You want to do 100 compressions a minute.
For all her adult life, Lisa has dedicated herself to others.
Coworkers said that she was very quiet, very sweet.
Good work. Okay, take a break.
It really feels like God's work.
Absolutely, it's so uplifting.
They described her as turning to her faith a lot.
Want to go get a cup?
Sure.
Sometimes Lisa would say a Bible verse even.
Lisa was a good Christian girl. She followed all the rules. Everyone thought that was how she would lead her life.
Then, approaching her 10th wedding anniversary, something changes inside Lisa.
Come on, I'm gonna be late.
I might scoop tonight. It's the same old thing every week.
You used to love youth night.
Did I?
Other people become less important. She wants some me time.
I just want some space.
Lisa starts dreaming of a completely different life, where she can pursue a secret fantasy.
After 10 years of marriage and no children, Lisa and Brandon separated.
She was able to get her own place where she could settle in and restart her life.
The God-fearing good girl, who always put others first, is off the leash.
Lisa was now free for the first time since she had been a young woman, and she could do anything she wanted. And oh boy, did she.
Lisa wants sexual liberation and doesn't seem to mind with whom. She browses internet dating sites.
She wanted to find a man that would satisfy her deepest, basest desires.
Lisa was into sexual role play. One of those role plays was acting out a rape fantasy.
Used to our new friendship.
Less than a month after leaving her husband, she finds 49-year-old Charles Pierce.
Lisa was thrilled to find a willing partner to help her live out her fantasies.
You don't like it?
I don't drink that much.
Charles had been looking for that special someone, and he met Lisa. And was she special?
Lisa and Charles had sexual fantasies in common.
Don't think you're gonna get away.
They share a love of bondage.
What she had with Charles was exciting and fulfilled her deepest desires.
Part of their fantasy is photographing their encounters.
She and Charles documented their unusual sexual tastes on his phone.
He acquired quite a collection of Lisa in different positions.
It seemed to be a relationship that was solely based on sexual encounters.
It's a far cry from the sweetness and light of her previous life. The good Christian girl is becoming an amateur porn star.
It was a very charged sexual atmosphere. She was loving every second of it.
But after several weeks, Lisa's past catches up with her. Years of piety start playing on her conscience.
She had a very religious upbringing. She knew what her family expected of her.
Her explicit photos may excite Charles, but they could also damage Lisa's reputation.
Lisa realized if those pictures got out to other people, including her husband, she could lose a lot in her life.
It's one thing to have a spicy sex life. It's completely different to have evidence of it.
Indiana, 2013.
I just want some space.
A once devout Christian, Lisa Schuler has traded in her husband and her religious morals for sexual fantasies. But now her conscience is calling. Regret has set in.
Charles was Lisa's dirty little secret.
Marriage is a sacred vow.
I agree. This is just a break.
Even though it was Lisa that moved out of her home with Brandon, she still was worried about her secret life becoming known.
Lisa hints of her anguish on social media, posting a grim cover photo.
A guilty conscience is a terrible thing. It can cause you to do some really bad things.
She's terrified her lover, Charles, will share the photos of their kinky escapades.
She worried about those pictures getting out to other people, particularly her estranged husband.
Lisa feels vulnerable, that her reputation is now in Charles's hands.
She didn't trust him to keep them secret.
And she decided to do something about it.
Lisa wants to erase all evidence of her secret fantasy. To do that, she needs her lover's phone.
Lisa lured Charles over to her home one more time on the promise of a wild sexual escapade.
She apparently wanted to play out her rape fantasy.
Per agreement, she left her door unlocked. Charles came in while she was washing dishes.
He was more than happy to see her.
But it's not sex Lisa wants tonight.
I can't imagine what he thought when she picked up a gun and started shooting him.
She shot him in a particularly intimate and deeply personal moment. She didn't care about him, exorcising her own guilt.
As he lay there bleeding, she emptied the gun into his chest.
Lisa didn't have to shoot Charles multiple times to kill him, but she wanted to make sure he did not live to tell the tale.
But it's an agonizing death.
He suffered on that floor, slowly bleeding to death and dying right at her feet.
She takes out his phone and tries to delete their interactions together.
What's your password?
Unfortunately for Lisa, she didn't know his password and she couldn't get into the system.
Operator, an intruder broke into my house. I had to shoot him.
Lisa recasts their prearranged role play as a legitimate sexual assault.
She told them an intruder came into the home, made her perform a sex act, and she had to kill him.
I had no choice. I was terrified.
How'd he get in, man?
I don't know.
You wait over there, man.
Lisa's not a criminal mastermind, so clearly it wasn't very well thought out. And they realized that this wasn't just a break-in. There was more to the story.
Lisa may have silenced her lover, but not technology. It doesn't take the police long to discover the victim and assailant are not strangers.
She's still insisting he was an intruder. I don't know who he is.
How do you explain all the messages between you and the deceased? He was your lover, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Lisa very quickly ends up confessing to what happened. Police had her charged with murder within a few hours.
We took photos together.
I didn't want my husband to know.
It was just, he had these photos, and I was worried he was going to show them to my husband.
All Lisa had to do to get rid of the evidence was get rid of the phone. Instead, she gets rid of the boyfriend.
Lisa Schuler pleads guilty to first-degree murder. In 2014, she is sentenced to 45 years behind bars.
It appears that Lisa was motivated to kill Charles out of fear.
Get away from me. Don't.
Fear that the world would find out about her kinky sex life. Her image was more important than his life.
Hi. Beautiful service today.
Shame turned a God-fearing do-gooder into a murderer. At her trial, Lisa apologized to her victim's family and her own. Killing was never in her character.
Here's to our new friendship.
But with her reputation on the line, she tried to protect herself in the worst way possible.
Charles was something that could just be tossed aside and have his life ended just to protect what people think of her.
For these deadly women, appearances were deceiving. Professor Amy Bishop thought her qualifications entitled her to kill. Bridget Durgen wanted to be the mistress, not the maid. And Lisa Schuler tried to erase her sinful ways with an even greater evil. All three turned to murder when they reached their tipping point.